Greetings, this is the Timeshare Traveler. Today is episode 293. Luxury I never expected. I decided to do a video. I got so busy trying to do more and more and more and try to be more efficient that I've sort of recently come back to try to do some, recognize some things that I did that were pretty amazingly luxurious for me. And I've started to do a few more of them. So I've gotten to the point where I've gotten optimized so I can sort of stretch my points as much as I want to save some for more luxurious stays. So what I'm going to cover today is why I originally bought a timeshare, figuring out how to live full time. Once I figured that out, I was like, oh, hey, what are the luxury perks I've got for this stuff? And now that I've started to experience it, it's kind of like I have to pinch myself periodically when I really catch myself in one of those moments. Anyway, let me jump right in and talk about why I originally bought a timeshare. Why I originally bought a timeshare. I grew up a humble Midwest background, raised on a farm somewhat, not really a farm, but I was a part-time farmer with my uncles and my grandparents. Got an MBA, moved to Silicon Valley and worked in high tech. Close to Hawaii, fell in love with Hawaii. That was pretty easy. So I finally realized after spending more and more money each time I went on a vacation there, that if I took a long view and I bought timeshares, eventually I would pay off the purchase price after about 7 years, and then that would be cheaper than renting. So it was somewhat frugal, but it was also extravagant because I wanted to have better vacations. So I made sure I could go to all four of the major islands, and again, calculated and actually did a spreadsheet for a while until I knew it was really going to happen. Calculated I could save money every year after the first 7 years and pay off the purchase, and then it's been pretty much, a third the price of what people would have been paying if I'd been renting, and maybe even less. It's hard to know for sure what you'd be doing, but it's way less money than I would have been spending otherwise. If I bought resale, I could have saved a little more. I didn't know about it at the time. There's sort of probably some perks that I've got that are benefit. I'd have that's just hard to know if I made the right decision on that, but I'm happy with why I originally started and the results I got. Second thing, I'm a little unique in that I live full-time in timeshares, and that, much more like an RV person, there's more people doing that than there are, I think, timeshares. I spent way less than buying a new RV for my timeshares, and I have 18 plus weeks, more or less, depends on how you look at it, of premium stays. That means I have the actual points, I can book it, and I don't have to worry about it. But I've really figured out how to leverage exchange to expand year-round coverage by paying cash and stretching points through different methods. I gathered free hotel stays from use of credit cards and owner updates. So I've learned actually more and more how to get more different perks and points than I probably thought was possible when I first started. Also, I've learned to book a month to 2 months to 5 months this year, almost 4.5 months in one location in one room. So if I want to stay in one location and treat it more like a home, I can use my timeshares like that. Again, that makes it feel a little bit more like a home. Doesn't really have my stuff that's all rented, but it's the same stuff for that. And that's led, because I have now that ability to do it full time, I've kind of come back recycled and come back to look at luxury to see what I could do with that. So what are some of the luxury perks that I discovered along the way? And basically learning the plan beyond full-time. So what now that I've got it, the full-time all taken care of, and I actually find that I have surplus points if I want to really work it, I get to go to the luxury resorts I want when I wanted them. That was pretty amazing that I could do. Actually, I would actually target some luxury, take a break and target that and actually get it, and I work it within even all the other things I'm trying to do. Once I knew I'd stay full time, I could use the perks to upscale my stays on occasion. So I'm back to almost like as if I have my timeshare as my home, and I still have extra to splurge on myself. So it's kind of, I never would have thought that would be possible. I thought initially timeshares was the splurge. Now I'm living in timeshares and splurging beyond that. And again, credit cards and special incentive. I've got the free night stays with the credit cards, used stays at luxury locations, figured out ways to do it, even if I'm not using my luxury points, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. Free rental credits, that I get with the Hilton Grand Vacations. I have $700 worth of free, so I'll usually splurge on those because they're free, and why not get something a little more luxurious. And again, I'm leveraging exchanges to stay at high-end locations and off-peak for normal prices. And now let me talk to you now about some of my favorites here. Well, I've recycled back to the original when I first started staying at Timeshares, and I was finally upgrading my stays. I'd like kind of pinch myself that I was able to do this, whereas before that I was always trying to stay at the budget this and the budget that, and but I was staying in Hawaii, so that was okay. And then I said, well, why don't I work? I worked really hard. Why don't I get really great vacations? So I did that. Now I'm back to I'm staying full time. Why don't I cycle a few of the points to get to really some luxurious stays? So because I have one of the credit cards, the Hilton one, I get to stay at the Waldorf Astoria. It's $1,000 a night. I'd never do that if I actually had to pay. That includes free breakfast. I've done it in San Diego. I've done it in Vegas. I've done it in Dana Point, right on the water. I even had a whole botanical gardens in it. And I've done it in Scottsdale with a, 60-foot high water slide. I did not go down the water slide, but I should have. I've been able to stay at the Ritz-Carlton Timeshares, both in San Francisco and in Lake Tahoe. They're just amazing. They're opulent. I didn't stay there for a long time, but I was able to do that just to experience what that feels like. And then I'm using this my WorldMark points through Interval International to stay at a Hyatt timeshare, which I don't really have access to other than through that, because I don't even own Hyatt. So I'm using what I'll call more of a budget timeshare to stay at a premium timeshare, which is kind of fascinating, and that's kind of pinch myself that I can actually pull that off. I've stayed at over 20 Hawaiian timeshares. I actually don't know the number, but I know I've stayed at every timeshare on Kauai with Marriott, Hilton, or Club Wyndham, and the Big Island. I think I've stayed on all of them as well. So right there's probably at least 20, not to mention the ones in Maui. Probably done more like 30, but the thought that when I first started with timeshares that I'd actually be able to stay all these different places, just amazing to me. And again, my original purpose was so I could always go to Hawaii, and it's been almost 20 years of being able to do that. In fact, in 2021, I spent 7 months in Hawaii when I was just I took a couple of years off from work and enjoyed that immensely. And I'll do that again another time. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know that even if you're using your timeshares and their perks, once you get better at using them, you can be more frugal and actually even take it to the next notch. And that's kind of what I've started to do, and I'm kind of surprised. I'm actually upping my game even another level than when I first started, which I thought was pretty good at that point. Anyway, hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Hi, this is Cliff, and I'm the Timeshare Traveler. Welcome to my channel. The purpose of my channel is to educate those who love traveling in timeshares. I've been an owner for 15 plus years at timeshare ownership. I have elite ownership with Marriott, Hilton, and WorldMark. I have published over 100 timeshare video reviews, and I've published over 95 timeshare tips. I can be found on Facebook at Timeshare Trav, at Twitter, Timeshare Trav, and on the web at www.timesharetraveler.com.